So you're interested in building some more cedar projects. In that case, let's begin. For project number 1, we're going to need 3 fence pickets. You'll need 2 boards at 36 inches, 2 at 31 inches, 2 at 18 inches, and 2 at 7. Let's first look at the 18-inch boards. We need to cut some 45-degree angles on both ends of both boards. Now you could, of course, take a speed square and draw that out so you know exactly where to cut, or you should be able to set that up on your miter saw. But just make sure that we do not lose any length on one of these sides. We need to make sure that is still fully 18 inches. So make sure you cut from each of the corners at a 45-degree angle in a perpendicular fashion. With these cuts now made, we're going to repeat that process on the 7-inch boards. Now keep in mind that it'd probably be best to use a speed square to draw these out first, because these lines will overlap each other. And your lines should look something like this. We'll be removing this outer section here and just be left with this piece. Once we have these smaller pieces cut out, we now want to grab those 18-inch pieces again and line some things up. We want to make sure that the long side of the 7-inch piece matches up with the short side of the 18-inch piece, and it should go together pretty close. If it does, we can move on to the next step, but if not, you can always go back in and trim just a little bit more off of the 45-degree angle on this 7-inch piece. But overall, they should line up pretty close. And now that we know those fit together well, we want to add some glue to the long side of the 7-inch and the short side of the 18-inch, because we're going to attach those together. And once you do, make sure you give it plenty of time to dry. And while those pieces are drying, we're going to grab the 2 31-inch pieces and the 2 36-inch pieces. Now on one of these pieces, you'll probably have the factory dog ear cuts, and we're going to utilize those on the other 3. If you don't have any of these, we need to cut out some 1-inch triangles on the corners of each of these. To do that, I'd suggest grabbing the speed square and a pencil and drawing those out so you know they're all the same. Then we're going to line up all 4 of those boards so that the bottom is nice and flush with each other. Then we're going to measure up 4 inches and make a line across all 4 boards. And then measure up 16.5 inches and again make a line across all 4. Next, we're going to grab those triangles that we made earlier and one of the 31-inch boards, and we want to determine which side is going to be the top and the bottom of our triangle, because the bottom of it is now going to align with that mark that we just made on the 31-inch boards. Now we're going to align those, making sure that the sharp edge is right along the edge and flush with that board so it doesn't stick out. And to attach this together, you can use glue, screws, or nails, whatever you'd like. And once we get that first triangle in place, we want to repeat that process with the second triangle, making sure the bottom of it aligns with that line that we just made. Then grab that second 31-inch board and we want to attach it to the triangles along those lines, just like we did the first one, using some nails, screws, or glue. Now once those 2 pieces are attached, we want to flip this up on the edge so that the 31-inch pieces will be sitting on their base. I'm going to turn this around so it's a little easier for you to see, and we're going to grab one of the 36-inch boards, and we want to attach it in the same fashion as we did the 31s. Again, making sure to go by the guidelines that we have there. Get everything in alignment, and you want about 1 inch spacing in between these 2 boards. It doesn't have to be exact, but about that. In fact, I'd suggest probably getting both of these boards, getting them up in position before we attaching them, and make sure that everything just kind of looks right according to the eye. And then, again, nails, screws, glue, whatever you'd like. And there we have it. It is complete. Any guesses on what it is? If you said a shelf that goes in a corner of your room, exactly. This will fit right in the corner, right in the floor space that a lot of times does not get utilized in rooms, and allow you to stick books or maybe flowers or just anything that you want to display on there, and it looks nice and pretty. Really easy to make. I hope you get a chance to make one. Moving on to project number 2, we're going to need 1 fence picket. You'll need to cut 1 piece at 13 inches and 2 pieces at 2 inches. Next, we need to make some measurements on our 13-inch board. On one of the corners, we want to measure in from the end out here 1.5 inches, and then up from the side over here 1 inch. And where those 2 cross, we need to make a mark. Then over here on this corner, again, 1.5 inches in and 1 inch down, make a mark. We need to do this on all 4 corners so we know exactly where those cross. And then we need to take a straight edge and line it up with the 2 farthest marks here. Preferably use a straight edge that has already measurements on it. It'll make this a lot easier. And then from the mark we made first over here in this corner, we want to measure over 2 inches, make a mark, 2 inches, make a mark, and continue that all the way to the last mark. And then repeat that process on the top side here. In total, we should have 12 marks that are 2 inches apart. Now at each of these little marks, I'm actually going to drill out a hole. And I'm going to use an 1.25" Forstner bit to do that. If you don't have one of these, it's okay. You can use a hole saw or whatever you like. In any case, try and make sure that the holes are as straight up and down as possible. And once you get those holes drilled, I'd recommend taking some sandpaper and gently going over the whole thing. You're just trying to remove any of these rough surfaces or any kind of splinters that might be sticking out. And I'd probably do it on the top and the bottom. Next, grab the 2-inch long boards, and we want to actually measure across them and make a mark right at the center. Now these are usually 5.5 across, so that would be 2 3/4. Once you have that mark in place, we want to put both of these boards right back to each other and clamp them together so they're nice and tight and won't move around. Then I'm going to take a compass, and I've measured this out to be 1 inch. I'm going to put it right there on that mark, and I'm going to make a 2-inch circle all the way around. Once you have everything marked, if you by chance have a 2-inch hole saw, that'll make quick work of this. If by chance you don't, you could always separate these 2 boards and cut that out with a jigsaw. With those pieces now cut out, we're going to angle them so they face each other. And then take the 13-inch board and we're going to rest it right on top of those. Now, in this position, we need to glue those smaller pieces to the underside of the 13-inch board. But I would suggest using some type of a waterproof glue because there is a chance that this, on occasion, might get wet. And it is finished! Have you guessed what it is yet? If you said an egg holder, you are correct. But you might be thinking, why are these spaced so far apart? I wanted to give you a couple options. First, there's a dozen eggs right there that you can store. But if you need some extra storage, you could always go back in between these holes and add 5 additional holes, and it should have just enough clearance so that you can have a total of 17. Now 12, 17, an odd number kind of messes with my head just a little bit, so I left it at 12 so it doesn't bug me. But if that doesn't bug you, add those additional 5. You have 17 eggs. You can rest it right there on your counter, and it looks nice with those little leg cutouts. You can rest right there and store your eggs. For project number 3, we're going to need 3 pickets. But I do want to mention before I begin, there's actually 2 ways to build this project. I'm going to show you the very simplest way first, and then I'll show you the little bit more complicated version. Now I actually believe the complicated version looks a little bit better, so I hope you stick around for both. For version number 1, we need 1 board at 48 inches and 7 boards at 22 inches. Now I'm going to try to incorporate the little dog ears from the factory, so take a good close look at that if you want to use that the same. Mine aren't exactly even, so I'm going to have to go back and trim that to incorporate those. At this point, it'll be a good time to go in and sand off all of those rough edges and splinters that are sticking on your board so you don't get them in your fingers later. Next, grab your 48-inch board. Get your measuring tape, and we want to measure up 1 inch from the bottom and make a mark. Now once we have that mark, I'm going to grab a speed square because we want to make sure that reference mark goes all the way across, but real light. I'm not sure if you can see it, but I have a real light mark that goes all the way across. Then I'm going to measure up from that line 7 inches, and again make a mark and have a line go all the way across. And then from that mark, we're going to go up another 7 inches and make a mark all the way across. And we're going to continue going up 7 inches at a time until we have a total of 7 reference marks going across our entire board. Then at each of those little reference marks, we need to find the halfway or midway point. So grab your measuring tape, and my board is 5.5 across, so it'll be 2 3/4. If yours is a little bit different, adjust for that. But just find the midway mark, do a little reference spot on each of these lines, and then we'll move on. And of course, we need to do some reference marks on our 22-inch boards. So right along the edge here, so it'll be hidden later, I've measured in 11 inches and made a mark on all 7 boards. It's now time to start assembly. We're going to take the reference mark on the side of our boards and we're going to line it up with the center reference mark on the boards on our 48-inch long board. And we're going to continue to do this until we have all of our boards lined up on those marks. Here's a little tip for you. If your boards are warped a little bit along the top edge here, make sure that the warp goes like a cup facing towards the top of our project here. Otherwise, if it was the other way, it could cause issues. At this point, we'll need to add some glue and nails or screws, depending on whatever you'd like, to hold everything in place. Now, I'm not going to do that because I want to build the second version just to show you what it looks like. Now, any guesses on what this might be? Well, let me give you a hint. It is actually supposed to be up and on a wall, so all this will be turned 90 degrees and it'll be like a little shelving. But it's very specific shelving. Let me show you the second version. Now, everything I've done up to this point can be incorporated for the first version or the second version. The real difference here is that instead of 22-inch boards, we want 11-inch boards. And instead of 7 of them, we're gonna have 14. So, if by chance you are following along and you actually cut everything at 22 inches, but you want to do the second version, we're just going to cut right on that reference mark, the half mark there. We're going to cut all these in half. After cutting all the boards in half, try to keep them in order so that all the colors and the lines match up. So when we assemble this later, it'll look just a little bit nicer. Next, let's look at our 48-inch long board where we made all those cross marks, the little reference marks that we did earlier. Because we want to grab our measuring tape, and then at each of those little reference marks, we want to measure up roughly ½ an inch and make another reference mark. So at each one of those, make sure you do that and then repeat that on the opposite side. Let's look at the first reference mark at the very bottom of our board here. We want to take one of those little shelving pieces that we cut that are now 11 inches and we want to line it up the best we can so that it doesn't cross over that center mark, but it's really close, but it's also even with that bottom mark there. It'll be something like that. But then we want to take the outer edge and line it up with that ½ inch mark that we just did. Now, of course, this is going to want to fall on you, so you may want to take some scrap wood and put it underneath it just to hold it up a little bit easier as we're assembling it. But once we have one side, then we want to put the other one on. And once we have them in place, you'll notice that there's a slight angle towards the center, and that's good because it'll keep anything from falling off. Once we have these in position, we need to glue them and add some nails or screws. And here is the final result. It looks really cool with those angled shelves, but what do you put on it? Well, let me show you. And if you haven't guessed already, this is a cool looking shoe rack. It gives you kind of an artistic feel while you're storing your shoes. Sorry, mine are a little bit dirty. It's what I have. In any case, when you're attaching these to the backboard, like I said, make sure you use glue and or screws or nails because you want to have a lot of strength. As you can tell, these are already bouncing around and these shoes are not real heavy. So whatever you put on here is going to have a lot of abuse. Now, one thing you might want to consider is actually putting some additional support under each of these. That's totally up to you as well. And there's 3 more great projects using cedar fence pickets. If you have any suggestions on how to make these better, please list those in the comments. I'd love to read it. Plus, you'll help out a ton of other people. Otherwise, get out in your shop and have fun building.